Hey friends, welcome back to Homeschool-ology. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Niki. I'm a homeschooling mom of 4, currently 8th grade, 4th grade, kindergarten, and pre-K. On this channel, I love to talk to you guys mostly about secular homeschooling, but I also share things about motherhood, having a larger family, our lives in general, and everything in between. So today's video is going to be a help me choose video, and this entire week of videos is going to be help me choose videos. I did this last year. You guys really seemed to enjoy it and get involved, and it was super helpful for me because I found things that I didn't necessarily know about. So I wanted to do that again this year for the subjects that I am still kind of considering what we're going to use. So first up today is going to be math. So this is going to be help me choose math for the 24-25 school year. So let's dive in. All right, so I'm going to separate this into grade levels. So I'm going to talk about my soon-to-be 9th grader, what we're going to do for her. We're looking for algebra for her. And then I will talk about my soon-to-be 5th grader and what we're going to do for her. For my kindergartner and my pre-Ker who are going to be bumping up to 1st and kindergarten, I know for a fact I'll be using Math with Confidence by Kate Snow. I'll put a little picture here. And I'm pretty sure they're both going to be doing grade 1. My pre-Ker has been kind of coming along along with my kindergartner doing the kindergarten level this year. And at first I was considering maybe like having her repeat the kindergarten, but she's doing so well with addition that I don't think we need to go back and redo that. So it might be a little bit of a struggle for her. And if it is, we'll of course reevaluate our situation and try something different. But I think I'm going to go ahead and bump them both up to grade 1 of Math with Confidence. And then I do have the Math UC program Alpha that I will pull out as well if they need any assistance with what we're doing with Math with Confidence, or if I feel like they can do more or whatever. So I know for a fact that's what I'm going to be using for my youngest two. There are lots of other great options out there, but I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. This will be our 10th year homeschooling. And Math with Confidence and Math UC have been the best things I've found for those younger grade levels. So I know I'm going to do that. So let's jump over to 5th grade. So in the past, we've tried teaching textbooks. Didn't really work well for us. We've tried Math UC, obviously, that was what we've been using mostly. We've tried Khan Academy, which was recent to us and we are enjoying. We've tried CTC Math. She did the trial period of that and she kind of sort of liked it. With my older, we tried Saxon with Nicole the Math Lady. Hated Saxon. Loved Nicole the Math Lady, but she uses Saxon, so we can't continue to use her. So those are kind of the things that we've used so far. And if you have more suggestions, I'd love to hear about them down in the comments below. While you're down there, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell and give this video a thumbs up as well. But yeah, so if there's anything else out there that I've missed, I'd love to hear about it. I'm not going to use Math with Confidence with her because they're just like, I'm afraid she's going to get ahead of how far along they are with releasing them because it's still a relatively newer program. And so they're not like released. They don't have as many released, out. And so I don't want her to get ahead of where they are. So I'm not going to use that with her. So having conversations with her, we've narrowed it down to going back to Math UC or continuing to use Khan Academy. So I'm going to share those two with you here and tell you, my thought processes between the two. And then we'll see. Okay, so this is Khan Academy. Things that I love about Khan Academy is that is free. Free is always amazing. I love that it's thorough. I love that it's a small number of practice problems, and if they get them wrong, then they can just repeat it, but it doesn't give them the same problems. It gives them new problems that, the same type of problem, but completely different problems. So they're not like just learning how to do those specific problems. I love everything about it. Things that I don't love about it are, well, before I get to that, let me pull up what we've been using right now. We're using this getting ready for 5th grade. So you can see here it has, and I have a whole video on Khan Academy. I'll link it wherever I link it. But you can see it has like the units, and then you can find the units over here and what they are, and then there's like all these little boxes. These are the lessons, and then the little lightning bolts are the quizzes, and then the little stars are the tests. And so another thing that I love is that I can actually grade this. Like it's like graded for me. I don't have to do anything, and I can actually give her a grade, which is gonna be useful as she gets older. Like, because starting in 9th grade, we're going to actually start keeping grades. We don't keep grades other than that, but in 9th grade, I do want her to have I do want them to have a transcript in case they decide to go to college. And so we are going to start keeping gradings starting 9th grade. So Khan Academy does the grading for me, which I think is amazing. That's all the things that I love about it. The things that I don't love about it, let's click on one of these lessons. And the videos are pretty not exciting. I mean, they're good, they're thorough, they're just like not super exciting, and so my kids don't really want to watch them, and so they'll try to do the problems without watching the video. But when you do a problem, and let's go here, it tells you what video right here, it tells you what video to watch if you don't understand the question. So that is a really nice feature, and they'll go and watch the video if they have to. But I wish the videos were a little bit more exciting, but again, it's a free product, so but anyways, I love Khan Academy, and when I asked her, this is what she said she wanted to use. So most likely this is what we're going to be using, but it does require a little bit more from me than I would like, because she doesn't understand a question, she doesn't want to watch a video, so she asked me, which is all fine. And so I think this is the way we're leaning, but it is what it is. So let's jump over to Matthew C. Now I have the other one pulled up. She would be doing the epsilon level. So this is the fractions level. And so we have all the blocks and everything. So I would need to purchase this level up set, which would be $105, which isn't that bad. We know Matthew C's concepts. We know how to use it. It's pretty easy. She only does it 3 days a week. We're using Khan Academy. She would do 4 days a week. So these are the two that we're between. We know Matthew C. We love Matthew C. Matthew C. is not technically secular, but there's very, very, very little mention of anything related to religious content, and so minor so that I don't mind using it. And so this is definitely an option for us as well. And I keep going back and forth. I think I'm more attached to Matthew C than she is, but Matthew C is something she can basically do entirely on her own. But then I have to do all the grading and I have to do all the things. So what do I want to do? Do I want to help with some problems here and there, or do I want to do all the grading and all of that stuff? So that's kind of what I'm balancing between right now. A little bit of a spoiler alert, we're probably going to go with Khan Academy because that's what she said she wanted to use. And I like to give my kids choice in their homeschool because I feel like if they choose it, they're more likely to do it without argument. So that's where we are on with 5th grade. All right, so let's talk about my 9th grader. She's going to be doing algebra. She was supposed to do algebra this year, but we didn't really find we tried Saxon and it was a mess. It was just a mess. And so we've been going and using Khan Academy, getting ready for algebra to kind of brush up on some of those skills that she would need, and just doing trying other little things, trying other programs here and there, like trial periods and things. And we haven't found anything that's working well, but she's going to need to do algebra for her transcript, so I need to find something. So I've been chatting about this on and off. It's been a struggle for us. Those of you who are subscribers, thanks for being here, by the way. I've been talking about it on and off, and every time I talk about it, somebody mentions Dennison algebra. So I'm gonna set up my computer so that I can show you guys this. And I like misread it as dimensions math, which I know is one that I've heard about for younger grades. And I went there and I was like, what are they talking about? There's no algebra here. And then I went back and reread it, like actually paying attention, and it's Dennison. And this one is meant for like people who not either struggle in math or just don't like math. And so the first time I looked at it, I was like, I don't know. So here is the website that tells you about Dennison math, and then there's some videos, and but what I did was I went over here to courses. You can see they have pre-algebra, algebra 1, algebra 2, geometry, and advanced algebra and trig. And then there's a placement guide, which I value very much. But then there's 2 different versions of the algebra. So there's the standard algebra course, and then there's like the slimmed down algebra for learning challenges and people who have difficulty comprehending math. She doesn't have difficulty comprehending math. She just doesn't like math. So I'm going to use this Algebra 1, if that's what we're going to do. And this does include samples of the video lesson, samples of the text, samples of all the things. So as you can see, I've been in here before. But this was the text, and I was like looking at it, and I was like, I don't know. Like, this just kind of doesn't seem like, you know, any different than anything we've tried already. But then I went and watched the video, and at first, like, I would just like skim the video, and I was like, this is boring. Like, it's just these same exact sheets and this guy talking. But then I like actually watched the video, and the way he explained it was very simplified and made very much sense, you know, to me. And I feel like it would make sense to my daughter as well. And so this is kind of where I'm leaning, spoiler alert. But I'm still deciding because I showed it to her and she said she didn't like it. So I'm still, you know, deciding. But I think she's going to say she doesn't like any math thing that I show her because she doesn't like math. So, which is so crazy because when she was a kindergartner, her favorite subject was math. Like, and so she says now it's too hard. And of course, math gets harder. This is hard. But yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a whole different, don't get me started. But anyways, this is the way I am leaning, but she said she didn't like it. And so I always have that Matthew C crutch to fall back on, which I kind of thought, oh, okay, well, we'll just fall back on Matthew C, even though she says she doesn't want to do it. You know, she's not going to say she wants to do anything. And then I went and looked, and it is, y'all, the algebra level is $365. That's insane to me. Like, that's insane to me. I spent more than that on Saxon and Nicole the Math Lady, but she really loved the Nicole the Math Lady trial, and she loved the videos, and so I thought that was going to work, and it was worth the money. But I know she's not excited about Matthew C. And then to spend $365 on it, to struggle with her, I'm like, I can't, y'all, I can't. And so I'm not, like, even though I know, so this is kind of my thinking. I look at a price tag like that and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I know this is a program that I would use again on my other children. So I really get to divide that number by 4, which is really only about like $92 per kid, which is a lot more reasonable. That's back down at that number that I'm used to spending for Matthew C products for kiddos. But then, you know, I'm dividing that number by 4, which is, you know, only $25. So I don't know. It just like, I think buying quality curriculum is worth the investment. Because I have 4 children, I'm going to use it again and again. And so it's going to be worth it in the end. But that is just such a large price tag when the Dennison one is only $175, which is a lot more reasonable. It includes everything, including the videos, the textbooks, the teacher manual, all the things. The downside to this one is that it's just a year-long subscription to the videos, where Matthew C, you get them up for a lifetime. So if I use Dennison, I'm going to have to repay this $175 for each kid, and then it's more expensive than Matthew C. So that's kind of why I'm like bouncing back and forth between like, what do I really want to do? How do I really want to do this? So taking the money factor out of all of it, I could always use Khan Academy, which I've pulled up here. You can see I sampled this, but it does everything that I want it to do. So the Dennison and the Demi, I would have to be grading their work. And Khan Academy grades it for me. Like, I wouldn't have to be grading any work, which would be so nice. But they don't enjoy, back to what I said when we were talking about 5th grade, they don't enjoy the videos. So then they're asking me a lot for help. And with my oldest daughter, she doesn't like it when I do math with her. She wants dad to do math with her, and then math gets pushed to the side all the time because he forgets or because we have a busy evening, and so I don't want that pattern to keep happening. She needs to do her math during the day. And so I feel like if we were using Khan Academy, that would kind of be like a drawback, is that she would be, trying to get out of doing math by using that I want to do it with math or with dad excuse. And so that's kind of what is pulling me away from Khan Academy. Otherwise, I think I would be using Khan Academy. And then my 4th option is the Big Fat Notebook series. So this is the complete high school study guide for everything you need to ace pre-algebra and algebra 1 in one big fat notebook. And they also have a workbook. So I'm going to put a picture of it here. It's coming today. I bought it because this and the workbook together was only $27. So this book was $12 and the workbook was $15. And so it was only $27, and I figured I love these resources. Even if it's just a resource we have on hand, say she's doing it with Dennison, she doesn't understand, she can come here, see if they explain it any differently. But we could just use that workbook and this book as her entire curriculum for $27. And then I can reuse that again. So really divide that by 4, all of that good stuff. Next day, Niki here. Sorry, I totally missed one when I was filming yesterday. And that is another one that I'm looking at is Life of Fred, the pre-algebra series. The reason why pre-algebra is because a friend of mine used this and said it's very challenging, and so I would start her probably here. Life of Fred is not secular. It's kind of like one of those math you see situations where the company is not secular, but it's math, so how can there really isn't going to be too much. I know that it does have more religious content in it than Math UC does, because it's like text style, so it does come up a little bit more often. But we have used this Life of Fred before in the past. I have the elementary series, and so she's used it before. She's familiar with it. She, it's funny. The stories are really, really cute and really funny, and so it's something that I'm going to look at. But basically, what it is it's this. There's a chapter that you read, and then after you read the chapter, there is a set of problems. It says, now your turn, and here's the set of problems. On the very next page is the solutions, so they don't have to go searching for them. They're right there. Very, 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 very similar to the Big Fat Notebook setup, where it's a chapter that you read, and then you do problems, and then you check your answers. So that is also something that I'm looking at using, but I just wanted to throw that one in there. And then I had one more note that I missed on my little note sheet, and this is just kind of honorable mention because it's been recommended several times in the comments here on my channel. So I want to throw it out there in case you're watching this because you're trying to find things to look at too. And it's ThinkWell Math. It's an online program. I know we won't be using it. I'm not sure if it's secular or not. I'd have to double check that. I'll add a note here for you guys if it is or isn't. And then it's an online program, fully online. So I know a lot of people think really highly of it, so I wanted to throw it in here. But I know we personally will not be using it, so it's not an option that I'm looking at. So that is it. Let's get back into the old video. Those are the 4 that I'm kind of looking at and bouncing back between. I'm leaning towards Dennison, but Khan Academy and the Big Fat Notebook are really, you know, big contenders still. The Math UC, I just think that price tag is just a little bit too high for us this year to fit into my budget, because I do have other curriculum that I want to purchase that's a little bit pricey. And so I'm kind of like going back and forth on these ones. So I'd love to hear if you've used any of these. How did you feel? What did you think about them? Is there anything else out there that I should look into for Algebra 1? Because, you know, I still can't decide. So that is where I'm at with the math front as far as like getting ready for a whole new school year. So if you would drop those comments down below, I'd be so happy about that. I'm also going to be posting on Instagram. Sometimes I get, you know, I just have different people in different places and I get different ideas from different places. So I'm going to post that as well over there. That I think I'll post it the day after this video. So head over there and check that out. It's Homeschool-ology on Instagram. And yeah, I think that's it that I'm going to chat about today. So I hope you'll come back and chat with me again soon, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.